he picked the wrong family, and not scared of a conflict, and we're not scared. We're not running. We're coming at him.
Well, good evening, friends. I hope you're all doing well. I'm Franky. This is Mekci.
Hi.
And this is the Think Tank. So, Mekci, how you doing tonight, friend?
Pretty good.
Awesome.
Late night. I actually could take a nap. I just ate dinner, so I kind of want a nap.
I think that's kind of what's happened to me. Like, I call it the COVID body.
The COVID-15.
Yes, the COVID figure. So, for tonight, I've got set up, just a little bit to chit-chat about as far as Bryan Kohberger goes. There's not a lot out, and I don't really see a really good reason to throw out rumors unless there seems to be some kind of fact lying behind it.
What is up with this case, though, on the rumor mill?
Oh, it's insane, isn't it?
Why does it keep turning? I guess I would say.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand what's going on with it.
No, it's almost it does make one wonder a little bit, doesn't it, about if there's anything behind any of this.
Yeah.
So what do you think? Do you think there's a possibility that he had help in some which way?
I mean, I'm not going to discount it. Like, I'm trying to find possibilities, of where somebody would have a partner. Is it possible? Yeah, but I mean, I don't. I think he did it himself.
So do I. I think that he's got to know that. I mean, this is what he went to school for, so you'd think he would know that anytime you get somebody else involved in your crime,
it's too big of a risk,
Oh, it is. Somebody's going to bust.
Yep.
Out of the two people, and yeah, it's over and done with. And I think he knows that, right?
I do wonder, because we were looking at those two videos of the first day that he had walked into the Idaho court and the second time he did.
Oh, wasn't that something?
There's just a very slight difference in his posture, his mannerisms, his character.
Absolutely. He, I know what he's done. And like I've said to you, even in previous conversations, I mean, if he needs to be dealt with, let the law deal with him.
If he's guilty of those things, I know what he's accused of doing. If he's guilty of those things, yeah, he should burn in hell. But if he's not, then obviously, I definitely want to see justice on either side, whatever.
Yeah. And, I've lived near some penitentiary towns or cities, and they're tough. Those are tough living kind of spots. I lived near a maximum penitentiary at one point. I think they're called, I don't know if they're called Superman. It was where all of the major unalivings and stuff like that. So what happens, and this isn't to judge anybody, but it's just basically fact. Someone gets thrown into one of these mega prisons, and they've usually got, a lot of times they have family. So of course the family doesn't really want to believe that these maneuvers are possibly done by their loved one. So they move to the closest town. So you end up with some pretty tough people living in the vicinity.
Yeah, for once they like get out of prison and then start families there, and
Yeah,
it's like this cycle.
it is.
Can I
It
ask a
is.
question? And it's totally random, but I'm just like curious.
Yeah.
Is real estate cheaper around prisons?
Well, not in the ones that I've seen.
No. You're like, nope, they're still up there.
Yeah. Hello, Blifton. Good to see you, friend.
Hi,
jury for the trial or the prelim? Jury for the trial.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I listened to a little bit today, but it's day one, so there was no cameras in the court. So I didn't really do anything as far as that today. They're busy, and I think they're going to carry on with jury selection tomorrow as well.
When did the O.J. Simpson trial happen? Was that like the 90s?
Oh
my God, Blifton, you're showing your age there.
That was okay. Get this one, Blifton. Did you watch it daily? I watched that trial, every little thing, analyzed it daily. So, like I said, I watched it daily. I was like fanatical about it. I probably dreamt about that case. But the day that the jury had made their decision and we're going to go into court, my freaking cable went out.
Oh, God.
Oh, my God.
The worst thing ever.
Oh, I was losing my crap. It's like, no. So I thought, okay, well, I'm going to go to the bar because they always have this stuff, in the background. Well, they had no cable either. So I was like, what the hell?
Does anybody have any cable?
Somewhere around 92. Yeah, because my son wasn't born yet, I don't think. Well, that's very nice. Yeah, I don't think my son was born, so yeah. Were you glued to that too, Blifton? It was like, oh my God.
I was too young to watch that trial.
Absolutely, yeah. So you must have been about 3 or 4, something like that.
Oh, thank you. No, I was. When was it? Was it 92? If it was 92, I was like 6.
6. Okay. Yeah, you're a little bit older than my son. That still messes me up because we talk a lot and I don't think of you like young enough to be my child. Showing my age.
I'm still hip to things though. I get like I know about the landline and stuff like that. And
yeah.
With Betamax, I used to have a Beta before the VCR. Yeah.
The VCRs. Hello, James. 94. Good to see you, friend.
So you do that. Oh my God. Math was never my strong suit, but I get
it. Yeah, and I was probably 24.
Hey, yeah, you guys are the same age. So see,
look, he's a little bit
younger. You don't have to do the math.
Right.
You pretty much answered it for me. Thank you, Franky.
I remember when I used to be like the youngest. I like a good telegram. So did you ever see, Mekci, did you ever see Party Lines?
Party Lines. Are you talking about Are you talking about like the operators?
No, when you call and you get like party lines, you like kill people on the phone.
No.
So group.
Yeah.
What? Yeah, that was group calling. That like
so the phone would ring, and if it was 2 rings, say, that might be for you. But if it rang 3 times, that's for one of your neighbors. And if the thing ran 4 times, then it was for a different neighbor. So yeah, so literally, there's people listening to other people's conversations, like all over the place. It's like, oh my God, him and his wife got into a fight, and then yeah, it was something else.
That's
It was
crazy.
something else. Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. It was,
I remember like I don't know if it's kind of maybe it would be the same thing, but like I remember like being on the phone, like on a landline, and hearing all of a sudden you would catch somebody else talking.
oh, are you talking like on cell phones and what have you?
No, like on an actual landline.
Okay.
Or like well, a cordless phone, that would be a landline, right? Like, but you would all of a sudden like you'd be on the phone talking to your friend, and then you'd hear somebody else's conversation. Just
Oh, isn't that something?
Yeah, it was weird. It's really creepy.
I remember when telephones, you could hear your baby monitors on telephones. So
if they had that antenna, right? Like, so on like cordless phones, I guess they would do that. Yeah.
I remember my son's dad and me, we got into one hell of an argument. Well, here I had like my baby monitor set up like through all my windows. I sent it out to like the neighborhood. Screw you, no, screw you. And it was out my windows. I must have been outside and him napping like in his playpen or something.
Mm-hmm.
And then he must have like, I wouldn't have allowed that kind of arguing in front of my kids. So he must have like gone to bed, or what's going on with these things now?
That's funny.
Oh yeah. So one house phone, a few street phones, more than enough. Yeah.
I remember I was super young when beepers came out, and I wanted one so bad. I wanted one so bad.
Yeah.
My brother got to have one, but
a little bit older than you, right?
yeah. But by the time I got old enough to maybe even own a beeper,
right,
they were just like out of style. They're
out of style. Yeah.
But I wanted one so bad.
Oh, that's hilarious. So, what do you think? Should we see what we've got lined up?
For who did you say first? Brian?
Yeah, Bryan. And this is just basically about Bryan walking past Dylan. It's probably not got a lot of extra information, but I thought maybe take a look and
I don't understand that on both sides. I don't understand Dylan. Yeah. And then I don't understand if that actually happened. I don't understand him walking past her. No. I don't get it. Because if it was one person who was like the target,
yeah,
and then he went out of his way to like maybe because he maybe encountered Kaylee in the hallway or something, and like you know he got her, and then but why then would he go and get Xana and Ethan unless Xana was out of the room and he chased her? But then why wouldn't he just, if he actually saw Dylan, why wouldn't he kill her?
Yeah.
It just doesn't make sense. Like that, none of that makes sense.
Well, part of my mind has got both Maddie and Xana as being targets from that restaurant. Part of my mind has that because I still think whoever it was, because in my mind, I still think there's one person. And then I think, okay, he probably wouldn't know that Ethan was having a sleepover, and there's a good possibility he did not know that Kaylee was there.
I don't always put my thoughts together, but that's what I was trying to say the other day. Like, would you take that risk? Like, would you do that? Like,
oh, right.
Unless you knew 100% what you were facing. or what you were up against. Like, if Maddie was a target, you wouldn't just like go in there unexpectedly, right? Not, you don't know if her boyfriend's there or somebody else, all these other people. That's just
and that's the thing. That's the thing. Like, being how many times he drove past that house, I still think that there's a good possibility that he's seen DoorDash. So with that being said, if he did, going with this kind of, make the story in my head, that means that he's seen that at least one person was awake. So did he think that maybe it was just Zamet being easy target? I don't know.
Was that just a huge coincidence?
Oh, right.
Like, did he see the DoorDash driver? Did he see him and use it to his advantage? Was it all a ruse? Like, there's so many questions I don't know. Like,
yeah. But
that just seems so risky if he wasn't planning for any of that. Plus all the other things we just talked about. Like,
yeah. Oh, huge risk. So, I've got him in my brain parked up behind, by the front of their house, I guess it is. Speculation, my lord.
Play it. Play the thing. Play the thing. Do the thing.
Do the thing. Oh, yeah. This is speculation.
Do it.
And this is me tonight. So, yeah, I mean, he was taking a lot of risks.
Yeah.
So I don't know what I heard this on, but they're saying, okay, if there was an extra person involved in this, and they're saying that say Dylan had a little bit more participation in this. Yeah. So what they're saying is that she was looking out that window, watching people in that parking area. Did you hear anything about that?
I did hear something like that. Yeah. I can't prove it. I mean,
right.
But here's an interesting question. Now that you brought that up, would that mean that Dylan maybe turned a state witness? And that's why
I never thought
her story is like so weird, like, and sketchy, because the cops can say, without saying that she's a state witness.
Right. It is so sketchy. And the fact that we basically heard sorry, one story was put out as fact to the public, and then we found out that they weren't being honest, that really she had seen, she didn't sleep through it like they originally told us. So sadly, what happens then is we don't know if they're telling us bullshit again.
Yeah. This is exactly why I know I mentioned this to you before, why I will never believe the Debbie Collier final statement that they said about her, because they left the premises of that whole crime scene.
Yeah.
For weeks, let other people walk all over it. And they came back and they're like, oh, there's that evidence we were looking for. This tells it all. This is the story. You're just like, no, I'm not going to believe it. Like,
oh, this is it. Like,
I'm not trying to be a conspiracy theorist, but like, it's not a conspiracy when you've botched because you essentially kind of botched the investigation, like, somewhat,
Yeah, and I'm kind of undecided about that because I don't know what to.
I will never believe whatever the hell it is that they say. That's
not now.
That's me being honest. Yeah, exactly. Not now. I won't ever believe anything that they say.
No. And I'm not one that, sorry guys, just the way I am in my life that's got me to this position, but I don't really like cops. I'm glad they're out there. I don't want them defunded and whatever.
Yeah, definitely.
But I want them over the frick there. I remember when I was like in my early 20s, like,
you're like, I want them away from me.
Just stay over there. Just go over there. Don't want to party.
Don't do anything wrong. Don't be suspicious.
Oh my God, eh?
You won't have any issues, Franky. You must just have that suspicious face.
Oh my good Lord. Yeah, I remember one cop asking me out, and I was like, no.
Absolutely. You just started laughing in his face. He was like, let's stop.
It's like, wrong profession. Don't take it personally.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're serious. No, thank you. No.
Yeah.
It's going to be a hard no, sir.
I remember saying to him, I said, so what is it about cops in uniform that people like? And he's like, I don't know. Yeah. He says, I don't know. What do you think? And I'm like, I don't know. You tell me. It's not my first choice. That's what do you think?
And
I don't know.
Have handcuffs. Yes, Wilson. Yes, they do. Yeah.
They do, and they carry things like.
Yeah, they got all sorts. Yeah. To me, honestly, it's a utility belt. That's what does it for me. I'm not even gonna lie. Right? I just love that they can have all these things on them at one time.
It's like, oh, for sure. For sure, right? Oh,
that.
My word. Yeah, they can do their jobs just over there. Me and my loved ones right the hell out of it. No, I don't date you guys. I don't. No. Never did. And never would.
Like John Wayne. Just DPS. Is it DPS? The state troopers. The state troopers do.
Do they?
Yeah.
Are you freaking kidding me?
They do wear the cowboy hats, yes.
Oh, that's hilarious.
What? They look awesome. My cousin's one. He looks so handsome. He looks so handsome. He's pulled my dad over a few times.
You look so handsome over there. I've got my mother's, my stepdad, his nephew was like kind of a high-ranking cop. And I remember when my stepdad was passing away, he was at the hospital a lot. They were close. And he was just normal. I said to him, so tell me, when you put your uniform on, do you turn into an instant prick? And he just looked at me and started
Or is that just your personality? I don't know. I'm catching the vibe.
Right? Yeah, he just kind of looks at me. It's like, truly, though. I'm asking you honestly.
Like, honestly, like, for real, even when they're not in uniform, you can tell the cop from anywhere. Like, you can
damn straight you can.
Smell
100%. Yeah, again,
you crowd your room and be like, that guy over there is a cop. Or,
yeah. Yeah.
They just have this thing. Like, I don't know what it is.
Arrogance. Control freak kind of thing going on.
Maybe. Yeah, all that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Assertiveness. You can just like feel it. I don't know. I don't like it.
Definitely assertive. Well, not all of them.
No.
Not all of them. A little asshole that followed me around forever. And oh my God. Yeah, he freaked me out because he had a gun by law. He had a gun by law. He was going about arresting my boyfriends and showing up at my work and showing up at my house. And it was like, oh my God, I was so glad when he went to jail.
You're excited. So yes, finally.
Right?
I do wonder though, how is it in the UK? Like, so in the US, and this is like my own personal opinion, and maybe I can just call them how they are. But you can see a cop, even when they're not in uniform. You can see, it. You're
absolutely.
Like, is it the same in like the UK? Because the UK, like, people, do the cops in the UK carry guns?
I bet you they're a lot like Canada because we're all under the same kind of blanket.
So do the Mounties in Canada carry guns?
Yep. Oh yeah, authorities allowed guns, just not the citizens. They're even. I mean,
I have this like vision of people in the UK like running after someone, blowing their whistle, and like holding on to their baton. Is that not right? Is that not right?
Ours carry the bats too.
And they're like, I can't whistle, but is it like that? Thank you.
Do you know what? That's exactly right, Blifton. I'd say more often than not, any profession of authority just draws a certain kind of person. I agree. 100%. 100%.
Okay, so like SWAT. You guys like the UK has like a SWAT thing, right? Then and the SWAT carries guns.
In the UK, like James was just saying normal cops don't carry guns there, but armed squads at the ready. Okay. And gun squads at the airports.
So they gotta like check out their weapons at the end of like every day they come to work and like a little library card. They're like, yeah, I'm gonna check out that M14 right there. Thank you. Appreciate it.
So James was Mekci, right? Like they run around with their little baton and a whistle. Oh my goodness. I'm curious now. Like now I'm getting that visual. And here, no, all of them can carry guns. Guns and stun guns and batons and
I think the
mace.
cops even are supposed to carry their. Are they supposed to carry their weapons even when they're not on work? Cops. Yeah. They have to carry their weapons even when they're not like actually on duty.
Okay. I don't know how that works here in Canada. I don't think that they do for some reason. Yeah. I'd love to go to Scotland. Oh my God. Wouldn't that be something?
A good beating with bats.
Oh, tasers and there we go. Tasers, pepper spray, and then good beating with the bats. Yeah.
Yes, Clifton, very much so.
Whether you like or dislike gun control, there is something to the fact that no sane country would ever invade the U.S. Mm-hmm. Well, hey, that's a good point. That very is much. A good point.
You definitely don't ever want to, if you're going to invade America, don't do it through Texas. Don't even try.
Oh, I guess not.
You're kidding.
I live in the countryside, still gun license for shotguns. Okay, and that's much like Canada. They can have their 22s and shotguns and same James, not with a criminal record, no. And a lot of them aren't allowed to carry anything pointy either if they're criminals.
Yeah, if you're a convicted felon, you're not allowed to have any of that stuff around here, but people still get away with it because in America you don't need that license. You technically don't even need a license. You don't need a license to actually own a weapon.
So could a Canadian go there while they're hanging out and just go buy a gun?
Yeah.
So if I went to the U.S. as a visitor, I could come there and buy a pink little gun and walk around with it, and no one's going to
need a passport.
Shit. Yeah, you'd need a passport to get there anyways.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
If you have an address here.
Yeah, I just use yours. Not that I know it.
Yeah, that would be illegal. But
Franky lives with Mekci and boyfriend and roomie.
You could do that. Yeah.
So who do you live with? Roomie.
Right. The FBI one day is going to look at them. They'll be like, why is there 10, 20 people living at this address? And they all have weapons. And they're not even from the US. Like this person's from Canada.
What the hell? Oh my goodness. So I'm thinking we should probably take a look at Bryan.
Yeah, I'm down.
So again, basically into Dylan and one of the stories. So let's take the booth. My dogs.
I'm not a political person, James, so I can't say Trump is loved by Texas. I can't say that.
Okay, I have to stop it there for a second. So a person's reaction is they close their door and go to bed.
It's not.
Oh, it is the most. It's stuff like this that throw in the conspiracies and what have you, like make it make sense.
And I don't think it's ever going to make sense. Like, even if we actually know the truth of actually what happened.
Right.
Dylan herself could explain it to you and it still wouldn't make sense.
It just, yeah. I hope that more comes out about this because, like I say, make it make sense. Shh. You guys, stop. Stop. Okay. So all of that's just scary, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
The whole damn thing is scary. You know, you get some people that are, I don't think he's involved. La, 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 la. I don't know what else to say.
I mean, could they have the wrong guy? Sure, it's always possible, but I mean, they kind of have him.
Well,
the circumstantial evidence that they have on him right now is enough to take someone to trial with.
Like, it's overwhelming. It's literally overwhelming, the amount of evidence that they have. Literally, for him not to be the guy, there would have to be literally no transactions with any of those people in any which way, whether it's following them through an online thing or right, or his DNA would not be in that house. So, and then somehow the white car lines up.
I mean, his DNA could be in that house is the thing. Like, that's one of the biggest things, because that house was a party house. And they obviously kind of just let people walk in and out if there was a party. So he could have walked in there.
Absolutely.
And he could explain his DNA being there.
But how about on that sheet?
But the sheet is also explainable. Like, he could say, oh, that I sold that. I lost that. That got stolen. I actually, that wasn't even mine. I saw some guy at the bar with it, and I thought it was nice, and I asked to touch it, and that's how my DNA got on it. Like,
absolutely. And then they might say, okay, with that
and that's all they have, of course.
Like, yeah. And then somehow, for it not to be him, he's got, okay, the car matches up. So if we eliminate that, then we've got a fingerprint on the sheath. But if we get rid of that,
there's DNA on the sheath.
Okay. So if we get rid of that, then it's like,
you have a cell phone data.
Buy that house or in that vicinity 12 times.
And that means nothing.
Right. You can get rid of that. But then you've got him following 3 of the victims. Like, that's a lot of things.
But that also means nothing. Who doesn't? Like, on Facebook, I have like 2,000 friends and I don't know.
Right.
2,000 of them. Like,
do you communicate with them?
No.
Like, this guy was communicating.
No. Well, he was possibly. It doesn't mean he was getting a response.
So, and the bloody footprint, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you'd have to get rid of that as well. He doesn't, I'm curious. We're not seeing many pictures of him, but I would like to know if he owns a pair of Vans.
Does he look like the van wearing type? I asked myself actually that same. I was like, does he look like the van wearing type?
I would say because he's on his feet.
Like particular style. It's a very not niche, but
I like my Vans. They're comfy.
I don't have Vans. I would never buy Vans. Like, that's not something that.
Yeah, I find them comfy. But mind you, I got shoes of every brand there is. But I do like the Vans. My kid wears Vans, but on their feet all day is what I'm thinking. And
he's supposed to be an assistant professor, like a teacher kind of guy. Like, I personally don't see him wearing Vans. I don't.
Okay.
But yeah. I don't focus a whole bunch about like on shoes because lots of people got the same type of feet, same size feet. Vans is a popular thing.
They are, yeah. But like you said, kind of a niche, kind of a niche item. Okay, so we get rid of the bloody footprint. Then we'd have to get rid of the bushy-eyed. I'm curious to find out when they went through his apartment. They've got that Dickies receipt. I'd love to know what he purchased.
What it was.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be hard to figure out either, to be honest.
Yeah.
If you had that receipt or like the tag, it wouldn't be hard to figure out like what it was.
Right. Yeah. I am curious about that. And whether or not, like, even at Walmart, didn't he have like a couple of receipts from like Marshalls? Yeah. So I'm a little curious to know if he possibly bought himself some black jeans, maybe a black t-shirt, because he also doesn't look like the kind of guy that dresses in all black.
No, he doesn't. But I mean, if you're going to go commit a murder, dressing in all black would be smart.
Yeah, so I would love to know if that's one of the things maybe he picked up at Marshall's. Can't see CarPlay.
You go to Walmart and buy that stuff. And there's 2 Walmarts. There was a Walmart Supercenter at.
Okay. But no receipts for that.
And there's one right in the entrance of Moscow. I mean, they didn't say anything about Walmart, but I'm saying like you can get those like black type clothing for way cheaper at Walmart. You don't have to go to Marshall's.
Yeah, we don't have Marshalls here in Canada, so I still don't know if it's kind of like a higher end. Or
Marshalls sells name brand things at a very discounted price. So like last season's items kind of thing. Like, okay. That's where I bought my leather jackets from.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Remember I was telling you about
that?
Like,
yeah.
The Marshalls. Or like TJ Maxx, because that TJ Maxx actually owns Marshalls. They sell name brand things. It's just at a discounted price.
Any cut or niche in the bloody footprint would make it unique. Like totally unique, my lord.
Yeah.
Slam dunk.
People sometimes have people have a particular way of walking.
Yeah.
So how their footprint, if you actually leave a footprint,
Yeah,
somewhere,
you can usually tell.
you can see it, like if they walk like heel to toe, or if they're more on the right, or if they're on the left, or if they're flat-footed
absolutely,
or curved, like arch.
Yes.
Yeah, you can tell all that stuff, but I mean, a lot of people can walk.
Well, I think where it starts being unique is if there's nicks in the rubber.
Yes.
Like,
exactly.
to start using a little bit more of a fingerprint. So I think that's what James was saying here.
That would make sense, because I've seen cases. I can't remember even the show, but like, I've been watching like crime shows like my whole life.
Right.
And sometimes even like the pebble in your shoe is going to leave a certain kind of imprint when you step. So if they find that shoe and they're like, bro, look at this pebble.
Well, this is it.
Perfect. Freaking match. Like, or how your insoles are worn out or not. Like, they can tell all that by how you step, but
yeah. Oh, absolutely.
If you have a brand new shoe, which a lot of people actually go and buy new shoes specifically to commit a crime, which would be premeditation, guys. That's
this is it, right? Yeah. And showing up with, I don't know if it's the same thing. I call them buck knives. So bringing a buck knife would seem to be showing a little bit of premeditation, I'm thinking. Damn.
Actually, I'm glad you put that up, because I actually have a carton
of the candy cigarettes.
Yeah.
Oh my God, those things are delicious.
The bubble gum. I get the bubble gum one. So you get to sit there and puff out of it and then chew it up.
Oh, nummy. And the sugar coating is just like sweet. Oh my goodness, don't do that to yourself. Okay, let's get back into, let's take a look at this again. So we did go over the probable cause affidavit. That's in a previous live, I do believe. So they're saying DM is widely known, Dylan M. And in the interview, DM explained that she awoke around 4 a.m. local time on November 13th to what sounded like Kaylee Goncalves playing with her dog. A short time later, DM said she heard who she thought was Goncalves say something to the effect of, "There's someone here." That's scarier than shit. DM stated she looked out of her bedroom but did not see anything when she heard the comment about someone being in the house. DM stated she opened her door a second time when she heard what she thought was crying coming from Xana's room. DM then said she heard a male voice say something to the effect of, "It's okay, I'm going to help you." Ho, 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 ho. I hope he finds a dancing partner like right quick. Oh, and I'm sure if they put him in population, he will. According to the affidavit, the roommate also told police that she opened her bedroom door a third time after hearing crying from another room and noticed a figure clad in black clothing and a mask that covered the person's mouth and nose walking towards her. So when his family, when they were all going into court that one day, do you notice they all had like those cloth black masks? All of them. Yeah.
They did. I'm not.
But
is it suspicious? Yes.
Right.
But I mean, it could just be a total normal thing.
Yeah, it could be.
I know I want to cover my face. Don't be looking at me like my child's up in my hair. Don't look at me.
Don't look at me. Absolutely. So, okay, here we go. The affidavit also states that a latent footprint was found right outside DM's door. Again, scarier than shit. I think if there is like a full footprint, that means that this guy in black clothes more than likely stopped right in front of her door. So
they made it a point to mention it. I know, like, Bluffton's mentioned it a few times. Like, they make it a point to mention that footprint, like, so that it corroborates her version of the story. And they specifically say that.
They really do. Good point. Yeah, good point.
But wouldn't there be more? Like, wouldn't there be more footprints?
I would certainly think so. I would certainly think so. So here, wouldn't this be okay? Hold on. I do have something just perfect for this. So, what if for some reason that footprint was from somebody who lived in that house and was possibly wandering around?
What size footprint are you talking about?
Like, I don't know, female footprint, similar to...
I mean, I'm assuming that Bryan, and I'm saying his name Bryan because he's the one that's up for the charges. That's the suspect at the moment. That he's a tall guy, so I would think that he would have like somewhat of big feet. Like females,
I would think,
usually have big feet like that. But I mean, it's possible.
Well, they haven't given us a shoe size, have they?
No, they did not.
Yeah. So the possibility is maybe someone that was sleeping in DM's room could maybe this footprint.
If we're to believe what's being said, the rumors, yeah.
You know? Yeah. Alec Baldwin will play Howling Mad. 2 thumbs up. Yeah, there's so much that is left to speculation, literally. About 6 foot tall. So what? I'm thinking, okay, my brother is 6'4", and he's about size 12.
Exactly. And then sometimes you could be I was just listening to a story earlier about like a possible NBA player that disappeared. And he was 6'8". He had 18 size shoes, you know?
Oh my goodness.
So like what kind of footprint is it? A whole footprint? Is it just like the toes? Is it the front or the back? Like I don't know. But I would think that there would be more. There would be more footprints, right?
I would certainly think so, right?
Why did they mention those? I mean, they don't have to mention them, but
no. It's almost, to me, it seems like maybe trying to set the narrative that they want there at this point.
I mean, obviously, that's always a goal. It's a state. That's always a goal. You want to set the narrative,
right? Right.
But obviously, I would think that they have more. They more than likely have more. I hope they have more, at least. But from what's on the probable cause alone, all of that can be argued.
Right.
And he can get off on that. Like,
yeah. I really hope that hopefully they've got more.
Yeah.
And hopefully what they have right now is solid. So let's see here. So this is something else that's been going around, is that the man accused of unaliving the Idaho students repeatedly messaged one of the victims, indicating that he honed in on them and made them a target. Now this comes from, I think it's this woman here, the former CIA. Let's take a look. Who the hell is she?
We know Xana and Maddie worked there, but Kaylee could have been there at the same time. So it wouldn't surprise me if he followed them. But him messaging one of them in particular tells me that he had really honed in on one of those victims and decided to make them his target.
Yeah. So that's what I'm kind of wondering, exactly what she just said. Like, did he already Sorry, I had to jump off for a second there. So
they said it was on the. They said it was on the floor, didn't they?
I beg your pardon?
James just asked a question about the footprint.
Yeah, I think they said on the floor.
I mean, they didn't say that like word for word, but I think that's what,
But it's a very interesting thought, though, James. Like, might have kicked a door open.
Yeah.
If there's a bunch of people traipsing around the crime scene before the cops were called. Well, you see, this is the thing. Like, there's a lot going on as far as that goes, too. Like,
and that's kind of, I mean, we kind of already knew that, though, that had happened from the very start because of the 911 call and how they described it, even though maybe they're lying, maybe they're not. They were truthful about one thing.
Right.
That other people were there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we can just assume that people did kind of walk over.
Isn't that something? Like, I'm glad they had that scene as long as they did. I'm glad they didn't give it up too early so that they could go back and take whatever samples and what have you.
Again, I mean, Collier, hello.
Oh, this is it, right?
Like, how are you going to do that? Like, you investigated for what? Like, what was it? Like a couple days that they did it? Like a few days they were there, and then they just released the scene and went back to doing whatever they were doing, investigating. And then they came back and looked at it again. They were like, oh, there it is. There's that thing we're looking for.
Oh, my word.
That makes it all.
And I mean,
I'm not going to believe you. I'm not. Like,
well, this is it. And how in that case did someone unalive themselves like that? I mean,
it seems
I know
really
that
drastic. Like, it's a really drastic.
Absolutely.
Especially for a woman. Like, it's, but I don't know. Maybe it did happen, but I don't know that for sure. And I'll never be for sure now.
No. Yeah, they gave up on the case.
They did.
Yeah. And I know the son still isn't impressed. And I don't even think the daughter, actually, that Amanda Bearden,
gave up on. That's like that's a little bit harsh. Okay, like I'm gonna take that back. I don't want to say that they just gave up on the case. But it was supposed to be an open investigation. Like, wouldn't you hold the crime scene?
Exactly.
For however freaking long you had to, like.
Absolutely. And just, I mean, who does that? Yeah. So there is, oh my word, what's going on, dogs? She is in the playlist there. Very interesting case if you're not familiar with it, with an outcome that's just going to blow your mind. So let's see here. So according to People magazine, he allegedly sent a series of messages to one of the women on Instagram, but did not receive a response. Citing an investigator familiar with the case, the magazine reported that the account the authorities believe belonged to Kohberger sent a greeting to the woman in late October. When there was no response, Kohberger allegedly sent several more messages. Basically, it was just him saying, "Hey, how are you?" But he did it again and again and again, the source said. Tracy Walder, a former CIA officer, so I think that's the blonde up here. Yeah, I think that's her. Tracy Walder, a former CIA officer who is not involved in the investigation, said it falls in line with the theory that Kohberger may have targeted one victim in particular. Him following them, I think it could really explain the fact that he did run into them at the Mad Greek restaurant. So People also reported that Kohberger allegedly ate at the Mad Greek restaurant where Maddie Mogan and Xana Kernodle worked as servers. citing a former employee. So I want to see, I'm hoping it's the date. So yeah, this is today. So it's back to, did he eat there or did he not? So here again, the Mad Greek owner has denied the report that a former employee had spoken to the press, writing in a Facebook post, "This will be my only response to this story from People. It is not true." So People magazine is usually pretty reputable. They don't just throw crap into the wind and hope it sticks. So the owner added, "I also have not forbidden employees from speaking to the reporters." Walder said the owner may be denying the report because of a gag order issued in the case. So that's very possible. They're saying that it is probably the biggest reason why he did not say anything. They do not want to have the penalties for someone having violated a gag order. And in early January, Latah County Magistrate Judge Megan Marshall issued the order barring attorneys, law enforcement agencies, and other associated with the case from talking about it, which is good because all sorts of crap was coming out for a while there, and it was, something's gonna mess up this case. So let's see here.
I'm kind of. I'm looking at Discord. I see like Shauna. Where is Shauna? I'll be like, "You're fired."
You're fired. She's so sweet. Don't fire me. So the detective's shoe print showed a diamond-shaped pattern similar to the pattern of a van type sole. And this was just outside of DM's bedroom door. Located on the second floor, this is consistent with DM's statement regarding the suspect's path of travel.
You know, because it doesn't necessarily say that it was, but that, now reading the sentence, it literally could mean that the shoe print was on the door because it was on the outside of the door.
And what was the wording?
It says just outside the door of DM's bedroom. So like that could literally mean it's like on the floor, right outside her door, or like literally like on the door on the outside.
Right. Yeah, they're not, that's the thing that is causing all the speculation. They're just not clear on anything. Remember, at first they were saying this was like a sharp edged. Yeah.
It doesn't lift in.
Yeah.
It seems like the reason why they even mentioned it was just to say that it corroborated her story.
Yeah. I can imagine you're right.
That's literally the only reason they mentioned it. Because why didn't they mention all the other ones? I would assume that there's other ones. There's other footprints. Why didn't they mention
Well,
that?
one would sure think so, right? There should be footprints. I mean, unless he was wearing booties, right? And that
that would still leave a footprint. Like you would still leave some sort of smudgy sort of footprint. And they would be able to tell that it's actually that you have something like a cover over your shoe.
Right. Yeah. And then again, after all of that, how is there nothing on the outside of that house? Like, I mean,
I think they did say that there was like a footprint. That's why they started checking that's why they started going to that back parking lot. I think they did find a footprint outside, but like,
oh, you think that's why I went up on, what is it, Queen?
Yeah, Queen. It kind of turns. I don't know. It's weird. But what I do find weird is that there wasn't, because we saw a whole bunch of those pictures, and they're not gonna just like clean a crime scene, right?
Right.
Do you see any kind of blood trail?
Right. And then what was it? Chris McDonough I can't remember the name of his show, but didn't he find like that black glove that was like out there somewhere?
Yeah.
On the very edge. But again, we don't know if that had anything to do with this case or
we
not.
don't. And again, Debbie Collier, you look at the photos from that crime scene, there's rubber gloves everywhere.
Everywhere. Oh my God, that was so disgusting.
I was so pissed at that case.
Oh, right?
That
it was
whole
like,
case from like the very start, you're just like, dude, what the fuck? Like,
oh, it's true. It's true. It's like, what? Are you kidding me right now?
You're supposed to be investigating the scene and you're the ones like just throwing out your gloves like that? Is that,
Right.
Are those investigator gloves, or are those gloves that were there when they showed up?
This
If
is
they were there, I would hope that you would pick them up. Because that's
right.
evidence.
It's like, oh my God.
I can't even. That
Yeah. Yeah. Like you say, again, Debbie Collier's case.
it's frustrating.
Furman has the other glove. But will it fit or will they have to equip?
I just can't even. Who comes up with these things? Like, what was the one about Bundy? It was like, save your electricity.
Yeah. Save your electricity for Bundy. Yes.
Oh my God.
Oh, I remember. I mean, it was all turn your power off. Save your electricity for Bundy.
Oh, man.
And yeah, they were like, yeah, get him, fry his ass. It was like, ole. Girlfriend. So this is Alec Murdaugh. And yeah, they are in the process of trying to get a jury together that is not familiar with this. So what I do believe, yeah, there was one part in this jury selection where what I heard was they said, okay, anybody that has heard about this case, it was Brian Enton that reported this. Anyone that has heard about this case, please stand up. And I guess the entire freaking room stood up. And that's what they're going to have to deal with this case. So let's see here. South Carolina's low country.
I'm sorry, I'm laughing at Shauna.
Hello, Shauna. As you fired, friend. Hello, good to see you.
That's hilarious.
So yeah, they call that area the low country. So, oh my word. She always has to make her presence known at least once. So yeah, it's like a beautiful marshy kind of area there. What are the coastal waterways and salt marshes? I seen that one video where dolphins were like, just like, oh my God, la 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 la. So it's now a bustling spot for tourists attracted to the historic cities of Charleston and Savannah. In the southeast corner of the state is Hampton County, home to fewer than 3,000 people. It sounds like my area. It's a small community where everybody knows everyone, which means everyone knows Alec Murdaugh. So the Murdaugh family has legal roots as old as the county itself. They're saying like literally, it started with like, I think it was the great grandfather and down since like the early 1900s. They ran that area. So this is where Randolph Murdaugh Sr. became a solicitor, a role similar to a district attorney. He was then succeeded by his son, Randolph Buster Murdaugh Jr. in 1940, and then his grandson, Randolph Murdaugh III. What is the reputation of this family? Ruthless and not afraid to use the power they have amassed. Never a good thing. And then there's Alec. He didn't have quite the same reputation as some of his predecessors, but he was the patriarch of a picture-perfect family. Right. So he has, it's like a hunting, like a house, and it's something like 1,700, here we go, 1,700 acre hunting property. And they called it the Moselle Estate. So Alec Murdaugh called 911 at 10:07 p.m. on June 7th, 2021, saying, my wife and my son have been shot badly. According to court documents, his wife, it was Maggie Murdaugh, and she was shot multiple times with a high-powered rifle, including in the back of the head while she was lying face down on the ground. Unfreaking believable. Their 22-year-old son, Paul, was also unalived, and a shotgun was used, and he was struck in the head and chest. So if you are a non-emotional sociopath, maybe verging on psychopath, suppose you might be able to pull something like this. I couldn't imagine.
All I can think of is like maybe just, but this is never excusable. Like, I don't understand why he did it, but all I can think of is like maybe like his whole world came crashing down, and instead of,
you mean with his finances and
like
everything that was coming out about
caught
him?
up. Yeah, like his lies were catching up to him, and instead of just coming out and admitting it, like maybe being too ashamed, he just this was the better option. I don't know, like
unreal. And you know what? I still haven't figured out, why did he shave his head? What the hell, buddy?
Yeah, I don't.
Like I'm still kind of
don't understand that one.
Like totally like a left turn there for a second, but I'm looking at him with no hair, and I see that, if I remember correctly, he's got hair right now again. So what the fuck? Oops, sorry guys. So let's see here. So they're saying that Alec Murdaugh was a person of interest from the very beginning, but he has adamantly insisted from the moment he found out that he found the bodies, that he was not the unaliver. Beginning Monday, which is today, it will be up to 12 jurors to decide if they agree. So on top of this, I don't know if this is going to get into this at all, but last I read, he also has 99 counts of, like financial crimes, like,
and the drugs.
So it's going to be bye-bye Birdie.
He's going to go down for one of them.
I beg your pardon?
He's going to go down for one of them, like, or all of them.
Oh my God.
They do have them on, like, set in stone on the other cases. Yeah, he admittedly said that he was doing drugs.
Right.
I think that's where the checks come in to that guy that shot him in the head on the side of the road.
On the side of the road, right. Yeah. Look at guys, like this is so messed up. Like look at all the different, oh my God. So I think there's a possibility I may have found a way that I can stream this case like this, but I have to check a few different things yet. Like I want to make sure that some of the people that I follow, I want to make sure that they're doing this, because the last thing I want is a strike on this channel. I know we're not a big channel, but we're still mighty, and I don't want to lose it.
That's so cute. You said mighty. I just love that. That's not a word you hear every day. I don't hear mighty every day. That's right.
Yeah, we are a mighty little group here. So here, this is on September 4th. We just touched on this. 2021 that he called 911 saying he had a flat tire and that someone had stopped to help him, but instead they tried to shoot him. The initial report was that a vehicle passing by saw him changing one of his tires and took a shot at him. Alec was taken to a hospital with superficial gun wounds. Days later, there was another bombshell connected to the roadside call. Authorities say Alec Murdaugh hired a former client named Curtis Smith to unalive him. With Murdaugh unalived, they say it would clear the way for his son Buster to collect on the $10 million insurance policy. So you can tell me what you think, Mekci, but I don't think that he planned on being unalived.
No.
I think, yeah.
And that's what I said yesterday. If Buster was
Mhm.
around that property when all that happened,
Thank you.
he wouldn't be here.
Right? Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Especially a hunter, you know, he would absolutely make sure that they would absolutely make sure that everything was kind of covered, right?
I don't know. Did you read what they have on him on the murders? That document that I sent you?
Oh, I'm gonna have to.
I mean, it's not a great picture, but they actually show he has a shirt. He's wearing a shirt that has blood spatter on it from both.
Yep. I'm not finding you in here.
Where?
Mekci.
Yeah, let me share my screen. I share.
Damn, he looks adorable. Oh my God, Loki.
That's my best friend, guys. If you're on Discord, go check out Loki. He's a good.
Oh my God, he's adorable.
He's a good guy. Can I share my screen?
Yeah. Here you go. Oh, that's right. Exactly what I was
And I mean,
thinking.
this is a terrible picture. It's a freaking potato. So I can't even make out what it is. Obviously, they're saying it's a t-shirt.
Right.
That he's wearing. That's him wearing it. I don't see it, but that's whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
But he's got blood spatter on the t-shirt.
And lots of it, like blowback.
Yeah. That's from his wife and this one.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I had a dog named Bubba. A Chihuahua.
I always named my little dog cutesy things like
I beg your pardon?
Pinky. I named one of them like Gilly after Marcus Giles from the Atlanta Braves, the second baseman. I don't know.
Oh, there you go.
But I named him Gilly because that was his nickname.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I don't see it. I mean,
yeah, they're saying that in the picture, if I remember correctly, that it's supposed to be like hanging, but that's not what's going on there in that picture.
Wearing it. It's supposed to be him wearing it or something, but it's like I don't see it. It's a super terrible picture. But
smoke cutting. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Like that's all I wanted to share. It's just that.
Yeah, it I mean they took their cuttings from some areas that if there's any DNA in there, there's only one way it would have gotten there. They were taking it from the inside of seams and what have you. So it's just another component of this Southern gothic drama that continues to unfold in the South, right? So not only did Alec Murdaugh not get the payment, but he is accused of embezzlement and fraud. So here we go. There are nearly 100 counts of financial criminal activity totaling nearly 10 million over about 1 decade. So he is also accused of stealing from his clients at the law firm. And then days later, a 20-year-old addiction to opiates was disclosed. Disclosed, and he went to rehab. So yeah, I don't know what got him onto these pills. It doesn't sound like there was really an injury.
Sounds gothic.
Gothic.
What does that even mean?
Unreal. Very descriptive. Then in July 2022, more than a year after his wife and son were unalived, Alec Murdaugh was arrested and charged. Forensic evidence was really what drew investigators to Alec Murdaugh as the top suspect in these unalivings. So they're saying that it took Alec Murdaugh more than an hour to call 911, and they point out the splatter that's on his clothing. So some are questioning, though, whether the spatter was on the article of clothing where they were reportedly found and had been damaged. One theory is that Alec Murdaugh's motive is that he allegedly committed these 2 unalivings to try and buy time to fend off his financial downfall. I don't quite know how that would work out, but yeah. So lawyers expect jury selection to last several days. And yeah, like I know that they didn't make a whole lot of headway today, so it will go into tomorrow. And with that said, there will be no cameras again in the courtroom. So I have to figure out my timing because I missed everything this morning because I was in bed sleeping. I got up and it was like, oh my God, it's done. How can it be done? I was like, oh yeah, right. Time changes. Oh, and this is the thing, right, James? Like Agatha Christie could make this stuff up. And the fact that this is happening like in real time, it's like, oh my God, an insurance job to shuffle money about. That's my guess as to what happened is basically just another way to launder what they have.
Mm-hmm. Or just being just straight out greedy and stealing it.
Yeah, right.
Without having any kind of laundering involved. It's just straight up stealing it.
Yeah. Yeah. Unreal. What people will do in the name of moolah. It's like, what?
Mm-hmm.
You guys are so messed up.
But I mean, the guy had it all. Like,
yeah, literally.
He already had money. He had the practice. His family had money. It was that, that kind of old money.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Properties, like he didn't have to do all that, but he did. For something. I don't know what, but he did it for something.
Absolutely. He's got hair here. So let's check this out. This was, I do believe, I'm going to double check, but again, this is a couple of days old, but it will give us an idea. I've looked for this Snapchat video stuff, and I wasn't finding a lot on it.
On the evidence that they have, they're not going to show that. You're not going to find that anywhere.
Right? Yeah. So this is basically, I mean, I have found a few other articles, but there's not a whole lot about the Snapchat video that is supposed to be important. So let's take a peek. Prosecutors Alec did one before calling police. He's such a wonderful husband. Here we go. Come on. Come on.
New details tonight at the time of event in the South Carolina, in which and his sons. Senior correspondent Laura Ingle has the latest on the timing of the all-important 911 call. Laura.
Trace, prosecutors in the case say they have proof that shows disgraced lawyer Alex Murdaugh allegedly waited an hour to call 911 after arriving at the family's hunting lodge, where he told operators he found his wife Maggie and son Paul with gunshot wounds last summer, just after 10 p.m., the night of the crime.
There is a video that shows Alec present at the scene, despite his denials, with Maggie and Paul at 8:44 p.m., not long before their phones ceased any meaningful activity.
According to local reports, the new evidence came from a private investigator who was monitoring the Murdaugh's actions while investigating a case in which Murdaugh's son, Paul, was accused of killing a 19-year-old friend of his in a boating accident while allegedly under the influence in 2019. Prosecutors revealed the video allegedly places Alex Murdaugh at the crime scene 1 hour and 15 minutes before he called 911.
What?
Did you hear anything, or did you come home and find them?
No, man, I've been gone. I just came back.
The announcement for prosecutors came last Thursday when Murdaugh appeared in court over a dispute whether he should be compelled to offer an alibi in the case. The nature of the murders of 52-year-old Maggie Murdaugh and the couple's 22-year-old son, Paul, along with the prominence of the well-connected family in South Carolina, has turned this case into one of the most high-profile murder mysteries in the country. Murdaugh has repeatedly denied any role in the deaths and contends he was visiting his mother and ailing father at the time of the murders. His trial date has been set for January of next year. Trace?
Yeah.
Did that really just say what I thought it said? That he was at the crime scene prior?
They're placing him at the crime scene an hour before.
For Paul's boat accident, right?
Do you want to hear it again? We can listen one more time.
Just that little part. Because, I don't know if I know that or not, or if that was like in.
Oh, you're okay. Oh, come on. There we go.
New details tonight about the timeline of events in the Murdaugh double murder case in South Carolina, in which a prominent former lawyer and father of two stands accused of killing his wife and one of his sons. Senior correspondent Laura Ingle has the latest on the timing of the all-important 911 call. Laura.
Trace, prosecutors in the case say they have proof that shows disgraced lawyer Alex Murdaugh allegedly waited an hour to call 911 after arriving at the family's hunting lodge, where he told operators.
So did you know about any of this, Mekci?
Yes.
Okay.
He found his wife Maggie and son Paul with gunshot wounds last summer, just after 10 p.m., the night of the crime.
There is a video that shows Alec present at the scene, despite his denials, with Maggie and Paul at 8:44 p.m., not long before their phones ceased any meaningful activity.
According to local reports, the new evidence came from a private investigator who was monitoring the Murdaugh's actions while investigating a case in which Murdaugh's son, Paul, was accused of killing a 19-year-old friend of his in a boating accident while allegedly under the influence in 2019. Prosecutors revealed the video allegedly places Alex Murdaugh at the crime scene 1 hour and 15 minutes before he called 911.
Did you hear anything, or did you come home and find them?
I've been gone.
Okay.
Okay.
The announcement from prosecutors came last Thursday.
I get what
What's
they
up?
said.
Appeared in court.
I think I understand what they said now. Like, what they're saying is his son, Paul,
Yep.
the night that he was murdered, had made it like a Snapchat video and sent it to his friends.
Yes.
And
Murdaugh.
this is
Alec
the
Murdaugh's
same time
student.
that Alec was saying that he was somewhere else.
Right.
But he wasn't. He was obviously there.
Right. Yeah. It says amongst the other things critical to the case, let me get rid of this, is a video sent out to several friends at approximately 7:56 p.m. on the night of the unalivings, wrote Senior Assistant Deputy Chief Attorney General Creighton Waters in a petition to secure the attendance of a Snapchat witness. In the filing, the prosecutor asked Judge Clifton Newman to sign an order requiring Snapchat representatives to testify at the Colton County trial. Oh, isn't that something? So what have we got here? Petition for certification of material
Sanctions? Are those
material of witness and to secure attendance of a witness pursuant to the uniform. I haven't seen this before.
Hold on. Don't move that page. Hold on. Don't move from right there. I just want to look something up real quick. Don't move. No, you're moving.
Am I? Okay. I won't even touch it. Touching it.
Yeah, we don't have that one. You should download that.
Yeah. Done deal. So let's go over this because I had no clue. So 14th Judicial Circuit, State of South Carolina, County of Colton versus Richard Alexander Murdaugh. So comes to the State of South Carolina by and through the undersigned Assistant Attorney General and moves. Let me see if I can see it better here. There we go. Can you see this okay? Not so much.
Goodbye, James.
Have a great night, friend.
I'm going to sing you a song, James. Oh, my bad. You're leaving. I'll sing you a song tomorrow.
Yeah. So I'm going to hook up. You guys can see this okay? Defendant Richard Alexander Murdaugh is charged with 2 counts of unaliving. Trial set for January 23rd, today. The witness, Snapchat Incorporated, custodian of records of Santa Monica. You see, that's the thing. If there's something going on at Snapchat, now they have to try and get a warrant to get this information.
Oh, they got
Snapchat provided records belonging to one of the victims, in this case, Paul Murdaugh. Amongst other things critical to the case is a short video sent out to several friends at approximately 7:58 p.m. on the night of the unalivings. The contents of this video is important to providing the state's case in chief. Snapchat Incorporated, custodian of records, is located at, and then the address for the state of South Carolina, is prepared to pay reasonable and ordinary expenses incurred by this witness in traveling and attending the trial in. Okay. Wherefore the state of South Carolina, pursuant to the act, requests that the court issue a certificate under seal setting forth the materiality of the witness, whatever. Back here. It's, let me see. So right here we have the different facts to get this to the court, and it is signed by the presiding judge. And state of South Carolina, County of Colton, the undersigned judge. Genuine signature appears to the attached certificate. Witness January 18th. This was just out not very long ago. So this is Circuit Court Judge, the Honorable Rebecca Hill's signatures, dated. So I do not want to go through it moment by moment. So I think what I'll do is go through it, and if there's anything like
all the cliff notes.
So yeah, do not what we want Snapchat video. We said a shotgun to blow off his son's head, which was severed from his body. Oh my God!
What?
Trigger warning! Trigger warning! Yeah, which was severed from his body, according to court papers. Yeah. Right?
Wow.
Yeah. Murdaugh is accused of gunning down his troubled son and wife June 7th near the dog kennels on their sprawling 1,700-acre hunting estate known as Moselle. Prosecutors say they're disgraced. So I'll just highlight this again. And this is according to court papers. So if they're, yeah.
What
a son of a bitch.
I'm thinking about that sentence you said. And like, yeah. I'm starting to get a visual. I don't like that.
No.
That's so messed up.
Because so messed up.
He was right there. That would mean one thing. He was right.
Absolutely.
There.
Yep.
A foot away, right, like point blank range. Like
absolutely. So this is the storage area, and this is where Paul was found. And over here is the dog's house and what have you. And this is where the mother was found. Maggie was shot with a semi-automatic rifle 5 times, including in the back of the head, and she died about 30 yards from her son, the court papers allege. So right here is prosecutors. I'll go back up here. Prosecutors have suggested the family patriarch unalived Paul and Maggie over mounting debts and fear that his decades-long schemes to embezzle money from his clients would be exposed. Okay, let's see if we can. Let's see if I can get that 911 call here again.
Hey, I'm so shocked. I'm like responding to Shauna, but
yeah,
a father doing that to their own.
Yeah, right.
And I'm not saying it's like ever right, but you hear men doing it to their wives, like doing. But you don't hear them doing that to their kids. It's
yeah.
Is that him? Did he do it? Do you think he did it? Do you think he did it?
I do. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I don't think that the fact, I mean, when you're that messed up,
And your whole
people are
world crashing down. That's kind of what I think. Like, he was, because he had the job, right? Like, he's supposed to come from this respectable family. He's a lawyer. He's respected in town. And then just the shame, right? All his lives come crashing down. He doesn't want to admit to that. He'd rather grow out a different way, maybe. I don't know.
See, what I find
him, like,
what I find really disturbing is in a situation like this, very seldom do you find, but I'm not going to say never, and I'm not giving this guy like even 2 seconds of breathing room. I think he's guiltier than all get out. But
he's guilty of a lot of things, yes, and he looks guilty for this. Like, he does. Like, I'm leaning towards he's guilty for it, but I'm just trying to like think of, because that's brutal. Like, you don't hear that. You don't hear a father doing that to their child. Is this a thing? Like, I mean, I know, like,
it happens. Like,
I
look at
know
a lot of.
I do know it happens. It's just like that to me is, regardless of what is crashing down in your life.
You'd think he'd take care of himself instead of the family.
You're gonna kill one offspring, but and spare the other. Are you playing favorites? Like, because it's sad that he was supposed to give that. He did it all for an insurance scam to give the money to Buster. So you're gonna kill one and spare the other?
Yep, absolutely. I mean, you and I have talked about my situation, and there's a big difference between the way I was raised and my sibling was raised. And if I got in that narcissistic biatch's way when I was a kid to protect her own ass, I don't put anything past anybody.
I can see that. Yeah. I mean, being a narcissist and not giving a shit about anybody else, you're just looking after yourself. I see that. I know, like, I've met people like that.
Yeah.
But much more he's showing like two different personalities. He's willing to spare one child and give him everything. But
maybe he didn't
murder one in cold blood like that.
Yeah. Maybe he just did not like Paul. Maybe Paul was turning into
he was, I mean,
maybe
that accident did not look good.
No.
That was a disgrace, probably. Just like a bad badge on. Look at all the other shit that they were doing. Like,
absolutely.
He was already guilty of doing a whole bunch of things already before that even happened. So was he mad at Paul? Because Paul kind of brought the attention to the family, which made people investigate his father, because now they're like, wait, what the fuck? Like,
yeah.
And that's exactly what happened, to be honest.
Yeah. I do not put anything past a narcissistic individual. I don't. I put nothing past them. They are capable of things that you and I it would make our heads spin.
Yeah.
And I mean, I've seen the work in action. Like, I've seen it live in person, how narcissistic people can be.
I'm going to go ahead and say that Alec Murdaugh was pissed off at his son Paul. He was ashamed of him.
Yeah.
He's mad at him, just like vengeful.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. You know, you hear about, I mean, quite often you hear about, now I don't know what nationality it is, but those honor killings. Look what those people are capable of. It's like,
did you hear about the one in Texas?
Is this one new?
No, I haven't.
Is this the sisters?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, they were getting too Americanized for daddy's liking.
Yeah, that's what Dad said.
Yeah. What's that song? It wasn't me.
It was him.
Oh, absolutely.
About his taxi. There was a 911 call. It said, my dad did this to me. It was him. And his own family hit him. He was in Texas the whole time.
Unreal, hey?
Yeah.
Unreal. And this is all done based on some form of messed up religious, and not just a religious, a way of life for a lot of people.
Practice, is that more appropriate? Like laws? Because you're talking about like a Muslim community.
Yeah. I don't want Franky on my jury. Well, hello, sunshine.
Yeah, how you
And
doing?
isn't that the truth? I mean, yeah. Big, big, big rabbit holes, friend. Everywhere a person turns. I have I want to keep following it, just due to, I don't think we will see a case with this much crap going on around it that, yeah, like it's a mess. Like I don't even know I don't even know what to say. Like I want to look
There's a lot of things going on. That's the thing with this case. There's a whole lot of things going on, but like they can be separated. So there are individual things you can separate.
Absolutely. Each rabbit hole is like a 3-hour live,
but
if not longer.
The thing with
Are you guys into it? We can jump down those rabbit holes. Just let me know, friends.
I love rabbit holes, by the way.
Yes, you do. So do you know what I would like to see? What we can look at it after we're all done with this. But I would like to look back on Alex's dad. I would like to look at.
Oh, you want to go way back, huh?
Yeah, I want to see where the hell this comes from. I want to know where it
they
comes
were all
from.
respectable lawyers, as far as I know. Now that you say that, I'll look into it.
Yeah. I just think that it would be interesting.
Like a family business, you thinking? Maybe? Like it's just been like a family tradition to be shady. Shit.
Yeah, like everybody's going to cover each other's butts from generation to generation.
And who better to do it than a lawyer? That's brilliant. To be honest.
Isn't that the truth? Again, sunshine. Facts, girl. This case is the meat, taters, and a peach. And you're right, Shauna. Like his whole world is crashing down on him. And I think they're so used to having I won't even just say strictly respect, because that area is scared shitless of this family. Scared shitless. Nobody wants to be on this
dynasty. That's the best way to describe it. It's a freaking dynasty.
It is a dynasty. Anybody ever watched that show back in the 80s? Look what they do. You just look and see what they do. I think that, I think it's going to go back. I think it's not only going to go back to his dad, but I think it's going to go back further than that. Yeah. And I think, especially when you start getting into, my opinion again, which generation would be them having, how do I put this? They come from an area where slavery went on for a very, very long time.
Oh, you mean the people that feel like they have a right?
You betcha.
To this land.
Yeah. Like,
and I'm not trying to be political, guys. Like, I'm just saying, like, that's the best way to describe. There's a certain type of people that are like that. And like that's how they feel that they belong and have a right here. And you're just kind of like, you traveled here.
Right? Yeah. I just think that this family is shadier than frick. And I don't think that it starts with Alec. I think it starts
You're
way
not wrong.
Before that.
I mean, it has to stem from somewhere. He learned that.
Absolutely.
Habit, that thing from somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah. Very entitled. Very, very entitled. So I would like to know what his daddy was up to. I would like to know what granddaddy was up to. And it probably goes further back than even that. I mean, once you get into where you've got slavery, I know this is like another rabbit hole, but they come from an area, so there's a lot you can learn. Like there is a lot. I got to get my ancestry up and going because I got to start digging too. Like who the hell and what made you think that? Yeah, right. Shauna was learned from his upbringing.
Yeah, to learn habit, like.
Yeah, and what the hell were these shitty people up to? You know, let's take a look at this here. So Alec Murdaugh arrives for his trial. Let's see here, you shady shit.
The law on you is to.
So I know I'm pausing this quick. Do you know how I felt when I realized this little puke is like younger than me? It's like, no.
Alec, anything you want to say regarding the jury selection?
Anything you want to say? What you doing, Alec? It was your wife and children. It was your son.
Right.
Is that JLR?
So can you imagine how that feels to be him right now?
The law on you is taking the show on the road.
What happens if somebody gets a fine?
I just
what happens if
paused you.
an officer like you?
I can't imagine that. You know how I was like telling you the other day, like when you know when someone's like staring at you.
Yeah.
This is why I could never get through like public speaking classes because I could feel the heat on my face.
Oh my word, right?
I can't imagine like doing the perp walk like that because that is essentially a perp walk.
Absolutely.
Or not. It's a perp walk, and that's got to be absolutely humiliating for someone like him.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, it would be humiliating for me. Like, I wouldn't be able to do it.
I'm gonna, this is basically what went on today in court. So what I'm gonna do instead of going through this all is I'm going to look at this timeline and maybe Mekci and I can
make a map.
Make a map. Yeah, map mania with Mekci. But look at it all. There's a shit ton of information in there. So
oh, I love those. I love that. Save that. I love things.
Right? Exactly.
I'll put that on an Excel worksheet.
Right. Absolutely. So yeah, this is from today as jury selection, and basically someone probably was voice recording and then just transcribed it.
Okay.
My thoughts.
I do like that.
Okay. It is pinned.
Yeah.
Holy.
Yeah, it's gonna be a fun week. Fantastic.
Right? Maybe look at, oh, I'm sorry, Shauna. Maybe took it a bit further and wasn't as smart as his parents and grandparents.
More than likely. That's why a whole bunch of organizations go down, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Just because their kids aren't as smart as their parents, or they're too cocky.
Too cocky.
Or yeah, that's usually what it is, isn't it?
Cocky and arrogant, as far as I know. Yeah. You know, but again, that's going to go back to how he was raised. You know, that kind of arrogance. I mean, look at his son. I don't know. I haven't seen a lot about Buster, which is another kind
you
of.
won't hear a lot about Buster.
Yeah, and I think a person needs to look into Buster a little bit too, because I do believe he was the golden child. So we know from that boat accident and all that footage how arrogant Paul was. May he rest in peace. But look at how arrogant he was. That was learned better than everybody else.
He's like a kid from like what you see in a movie, like that little.
Yep.
I'm rich. My parents have money. I'm entitled. I can do what I want.
Oh, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I've never met a person like that. I've met a few kids come from money. They don't act like that. It's kind of a little bit astonishing. It's a learned thing. He got it.
Absolutely. I've got biologically a very close person in my world. Biologically, I think she's an asshole. But they absolutely, including the children, believe that they are better. I mean, they've got a lot of money, not like Murdaugh kind of money, but as far as their area, probably some of the wealthiest people in that area. And I know, as far as the girl goes, I know she was not raised to be the way she was. But now this girl has her own children, and they are very entitled. Very, very, very entitled. So again, it's learned because.
And you know what? Now that you said that, like, because sometimes maybe it's not necessarily the parent, but if you have like a somewhat of a high status, I guess I would just like in the community.
Yeah.
That other people in the community would treat you that way.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So maybe it's not maybe you're not getting it from your parents, but you're getting it from the town or the community that you're living in, that they treat you that way. They're just like, oh, you don't mess with them.
I think you know who I'm talking about, just from previous conversations. But she said this to me. You have the money, you have the power.
Yeah, I mean,
those
that's
were her.
True. That's a true statement.
Yeah, you have the money, you have the power.
Yeah.
And that is, to me, sick and demented.
It is. Yeah.
I just don't think. I still, in my land, in my mind, everybody's pretty much equal. I know she sits on the toilet the same way I do. I know that for a fact. She don't lift her leg. Not a leg lifter. So, yeah, I mean, we're very, very close biologically, but night and day as humans. And honestly, like I say, she's got the money, she's got the power. And I just think that's, like I say, I think that's sick and demented. Like, how about we all be equals?
We all the same. We'll start gonna bleed. You stab me, I'm gonna bleed.
Well, this is the thing.
It's not gonna be purple. It's gonna be red.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And again, like, some of these people just are very entitled. And I think that the Murdaughs are very much
a dynasty.
A dynasty. Yeah, absolutely, Mekci. The mind is a crazy thing, right, Shauna? 100%.
I know. Me and Shauna were watching something about the mind the other day.
Okay.
You know what a free climber is? A free climber, like a free solo kind of dude. People that climb mountains with no ropes.
Oh, whoa. Yeah, the adrenaline chasers.
Well, there's this guy, he's a free solo kind of dude. He's got a whole documentary. But it takes a little bit to stimulate that thing in his brain.
Okay.
Yeah, he lacks fear. He
he
has no fear. Like it takes a lot to get him to like actually get his mind stimulated. It's really weird.
Yeah.
And me and Shauna were thinking the other day, like, does that have anything to do with killers, serial killers?
Absolutely.
Because you know how a lot of them say that they hit their head, like when they're kids or just something, but they understand it. It's weird. They're really smart and they get it, and like, but there's just something in their brain that's not.
Yeah, absolutely. You need fear in order to be balanced. If you have no fear, you don't learn. You don't. You're not even sane if you have no fear. the people that are okay with no fear, my son, now I think I've mentioned this before, is got a psychology degree. And he tells me on a regular basis, like, it takes a lot for fear to happen to me. It takes a lot for me to get scared. And my son is like, that is so unhealthy. And, you know, we got into this discussion and he's right.
Is it? I mean, I don't think it is really. I don't. If you use it in a terrible manner, like if we're going to associate that, like let's just say like you have something that needs your mind to be a little bit more stimulated. It takes more to get your mind stimulated.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're either a serial killer.
Well,
go to that extent. You're either a serial killer, or you can actually use that to your advantage. You could be a daredevil. You can go skydiving.
Even the job. Yeah, I've been skydiving, and I did probably one of the most dangerous jobs out there. And I worked on the oil field. Yeah, and I've worked in the oil field and way in the back mountain passes where there really is no road anymore, but you've got to get to this little station that is like way the hell over there. So you're plowing through, you have no roads they haven't been used forever. You look out your passenger side window and literally the trees look like blades of grass.
Yeah,
you are so far
over.
But in order to do that and drive on the highways with a great big tri-drive and have to deal with all these drivers, and I mean, I had to have my H2S ticket. I had to have my confined space ticket. I had to have, and you cannot work those jobs with a high fear level. You cannot do it because it is probably one
accomplished.
Yeah. And my son, you know, he's like, you know, Mom, that's just, I mean, that's not good. You need fear. And I'm like, I know. But during life, when things kind of go sideways for you, your tolerance for certain things start to go higher and higher and higher.
I do see that. I do know that. Yeah.
Yeah. So to scare me, sadly, it takes a hell of a lot, which is not good because if I'm not careful, I can be in a very dangerous situation. And
I see what you're saying. You're kind of just more.
You need fear. Fear is a good thing. No fear.
Well, you're right because it is your flight or fight.
Yes.
That's what triggers it.
Yeah. And I'm fight.
Longer.
Yeah.
To have it triggered, then I could see where.
Yeah. And to do some of the jobs that I did, like H2S was just part of my daily, you know, and explosives, just all of that stuff where if you get frightened, you cannot be out there because the whole job is dangerous. From getting into that great big Kenworth until you're home back in your bed. You know, and you just cannot have it if you have fear because everything about it is scary.
Yeah.
You know, so if you have, but you know, it's like you said, it's good for skydiving. Police.
Because then at that point, you know that you'd be the person that has a fight, right? Like
I fight. I would fight.
It's like an automatic reaction, right? So
absolutely. Yeah.
But if it takes too long to have it triggered, like you're kind of like,
And I will,
you don't know how you're
something will scare most people, I walk right into it and go, what the F? And that's where it gets dangerous because I should be back with the other person going, okay, peace, you win. But I don't have that in me.
Common sense about you though. Like you are very much aware of everything that's going on. I mean, you cover true crime, right? So you know that someone can be carrying a knife or a gun or whatever. Usually people are always carrying something.
Absolutely.
So if you naturally have that instinct, I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. Like being the person that fights. There's
just have
wrong
to
with that.
Be careful. Pick your battles, right?
You have to be able to defend yourself.
And you do. I was not a big kid. I was always kind of like the smallest girl in the group. not by choice, just the way it worked out. And I think not only other experiences through life, but I think the fact that so many people would just come straight up to me and get in my face, that eventually you just like, excuse me.
Yeah. Once you start getting older too, like I know I hit a certain age where I was just like, I'm not doing this. Like,
yeah.
I was quicker to call somebody out, like just be like,
Mhm.
yeah, I'm not cool with that. And
Yeah.
I say it nicely. I would. I always say it nicely. It's just like I do let people know that I'm just not that person.
Oh, exactly. Yeah, exactly. So, guys, we've been, you know what? We've been doing like 2 hours. So, anything else you want to talk about tonight, Mekci, before we jump off?
No, I'm good.
Good, you're good?
Yep.
How about you guys in chit chat? Is there anything we want to look at real quick before?
Shauna, who was late?
Is you Shauna? You're fired. You're just fired. Yeah, me and Donald Trump. Yeah, you're fired.
I love you, by the way. You're my love. Like,
Yeah.
She was chatting me up. She was like, this, and that. And I was like, why aren't you at the live?
She's adorable. She's like, what?
And then she started out, she was like, oh, hey.
Oh my goodness. We've got like, honestly, the best group.
Yeah.
I enjoy every single one of, everyone in chat. Oh, that's me too. That's me too. The only thing I had to learn was to back up that mouth. And once I could, once I could back up that mouth, then I had to like kind of control myself and not be the issue. Use that to like get the frick away from me. Not come here. What has he come here? He's come over and talk to me.
No, I never had that face. I love that. I was really, you look like you don't want to talk to anybody. And I'm like, yet you're fucking here. I don't understand. I picked the loneliest table, farthest from everybody, just sit by myself, and yet you're still here. I don't get it. I don't get it.
Oh my goodness. Well, I think, girlfriend, time to jump off.
For sure.
Okay. Everybody have a great night. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. And we'll see you tomorrow, I am sure.
I'll be singing Disney songs.
Right. Oh, peace and love, everybody.
Bye.